Hello everyone. I wanted to share a video. It's been a while since I have done like a journal update or a text I'm working with update. So now that I am kind of getting back into a routine, I wanted to just share some of the things I have been working with for the last several months since going away to have my baby. And now my baby is 4 months old, and I had a creative baby that I've shared with you guys in another video. I'll talk a little bit more about this journal towards the end, but I think I will start with journals and then I will talk about tarot decks, just because I have less journals and more tarot decks. And hopefully my camera memory lasts throughout the video. I mean, for the whole video. So let's see, this journal, I have been using it to collage. So I have some, I'm gonna do a quick flip through. I'm new to collage. I'm not very good at it, but I just make collages that I think are interesting and they are nice to me. This journal actually started as a swatch book for my jelly printing. I haven't had a lot of time to jelly print lately, and I'm not into it as much as when I first got into it, but I hope to make time for it and be excited for jelly printing again. So some of the collage papers I have are those papers that I jelly printed, but I also try to use just random papers that I find, like receipts, movie tickets. A lot of junk mail ends up being recycled here in my house, so I'll use it for jelly printing. These are some journal cards that I made, and this image is from the Right Brain Planner. So this is where I make my collages. And yeah, so the last one I made was today, and I haven't put a date on it. Today was the 13th. Wow. And it's super simple. Sometimes I struggle to find like the papers that fit right, and for the most part I use just colors and textures and shapes, and not like the traditional collage that you would use, that you see like combining different images from magazines. I actually don't have a lot of magazine images, so this is my creativity slash collage journal that I'm using right now. I'm still using the one line a day journal where I record memories for my family, for my girls. So I'm glad it's holding up. And I have a Hobonichi 5-year that I use for myself personally, but I didn't bring it, so I'm not going to flip through this one. This one I got at Amazon, and it was like $14. I got it last year. So this is the second year that I have been writing in it. I am still using my Hobonichis from this year, and I did not buy Hobonichi planners for next year. I decided that I was going to use the cover, so I just ordered an A6 Stylogy, I think is what they're called, the notebook. So what I have been doing in this journal is it has turned into a gratitude journal. So every day I'll write something or a few things that I'm grateful for, and it's also my to-do list. And then I decorate it with stickers or some pieces of paper, or like receipts as well, from things that we've purchased or places we visited. Maybe at the end at the end of the year I might do like a flip through. So I won't be using a Hobonichi for next year, but I am going to be using my cover for the Stylogy book that I bought, and it will be again a gratitude journal, some lottery tickets that were not winners. I will use it as a gratitude, like a daily gratitude journal and to-do list. But I'm glad I continue to use the Hobonichis. I paid a lot for them last year, and I'm also not sad that I'm not buying Hobonichis this year. There was the limited, I don't know if it was limited edition, but the anime Hobonichi that came out this year was one piece. And well, they're not available right now, but I do like One Piece, but I did not like One Piece that much to go and buy the Hobonichis. I am also using my Hobonichi Weeks, and I am thinking of buying a different, not a Hobonichi, but another planner that has like the weeks format with the 5 days and then note spaces. I actually really have enjoyed the back pages as well. They've become kind of like a bullet journal / where I make lists and take notes and write my decks I'm using, crystals I've worked with, books I've read, movies I watched. So my art supply list. So I have really enjoyed these back pages. I am considering getting the Moleskin Weeks. It's maybe like $21 on Amazon. It might be a little smaller than this one, but it also has the same format, like the week here and then a page for notes. So I'm glad that I have continued to use this one as well. And I did not bring the moon calendar, but I am using that one, and I will be using it for next year as well. And then I wanted to, before I move on to the decks, if you saw my last video, you will know that I created a journal. I created a journal that was my creativity journal back in 2021, and then I was printing it out for myself. And last year, or this year, I mean, I did work with it, but I made it, I expanded it, I guess you could say. And then towards the end of this year, so a few months ago, I decided that I wanted to create a whole year creativity journal and share it with others who might want to use it. So I have printed, these are available to purchase in my Etsy shop. I will link at the bottom. But I printed a couple of different versions. This is the one that has been more popular, but this is a new version as well. So a paperback and a spiral bound. I'm not going to flip through because I have the other video, which I will also link to, but I did want to share that there's two paperback editions that I was able to get from Lulu, and they're available in the shop. I guess I am flipping through it a little bit, but not in great detail. So I will be using this journal for next year as well, and I will probably talk about it in my video that I will make for what journals I'll be using next year. So that wraps up the journaling edition. Let me move this, the journaling part of this video. And now I will be talking about decks that I have been using. Let's see. I'm not gonna go in order, but I'll just flip through some of them. This is the Isis Oracle Pocket Edition by Elena Fairchild. And I had this deck on my wish list for a very long time. Then I bought it pre-owned from someone with another deck I was buying as well, and she threw it in there for $10, so I went ahead and got it. And I have been pulling a card for the week, trying to connect with the energy of the goddess Isis. The pocket editions have no guidebook, but they have a little snippet of the card meaning in the back. I do enjoy this deck. Like I said, I have been pulling like a card per week, so I haven't used it in a reading like with a big spread, but I am still considering getting the full version just because I would like to have access to the guidebook. So that's the Isis Oracle. There's a couple of things that I didn't bring, but I have finally started to use the Spirit Keepers Tarot by Benabel Wen. This is the Vitruvian edition, which was the second edition she printed. And I actually purchased she has a workbook that comes with the deck, where you work with the deck for 22 weeks and you record your notes, and it's a really cool workbook. I started to use it. I got busy and did not continue, but I want to go back and actually do the 22 weeks with the Spirit Keepers Tarot. So when I bought this deck like 2 years ago, and I had not opened it or looked at it since I bought it. So I was glad that I finally got around to doing that this year, because it was one of the decks that I wanted to work with this year. And even though I didn't spend 22 weeks with it already, that's something that I do plan to do. And I found the workbook to be really helpful, and I was learning a lot just by reading like the introduction that Benabel wrote. So I know she has a pre-order available for the third edition of the deck, which is called Revelations, but I'm probably not going to get that one, since I want to at least work with the one that I have before buying another one. So if I go back to working with the workbook and the deck, I will definitely do a video to share my experience with you guys. Another deck that I have been working with is the Archangel Fire Oracle by Alexandra Wenman. And I believe I also bought this one used from someone, and I bought it when I was looking for another Archangel Oracle deck to satisfy my want for the Doreen Virtue ones. That one you cannot really get access to, at least like the Archangel ones, like the Archangel Michael or Archangel Raphael, unless they're like the pirated version. So this one I saw on Free Spirit, the channel Free Spirit, and I really liked it. And I have been working with the archangels for a really extended period of time. So I have worked with 2 archangels so far since I started using it a few months ago. And there was, let me see if I find the first archangel I worked with. Right now I'm working with the Archangel Cherubiel. And then the first one that I worked with, I feel like her name was Josiel or Josiel. It's really different. Like when you look at it, it's not your stereotypical Archangel deck. So I thought that was really cool. And then the purpose behind the deck, the creator talks, Sakiel was the very first Archangel that I worked with a few months ago. And I'll put her off to the side and I'll finish my thought, what I was saying about the deck. So the intention behind this deck is that you connect with each archangel, but you're also kind of trying to embody the qualities of the archangel to develop and grow your own wings, or to embody the energy of that archangel in your own life. So Archangel Sakiel was the very first one that I pulled, and I spent a few weeks, maybe like a month or more, just working with her, thinking about her energy. And it was really interesting because around that time I was going through the second house, I believe, in my natal chart, which meant that I was also just really focused on like what the archangel was supposed to help me with, which was like finances and wealth, mentality, and like not wealth, yes, wealth, mentality, but also like perception of what's valuable and what's not valuable. So Archangel Cherubiel, who is not in the deck because he's sitting in my room, in my little secret space, is supposed to help with your spiritual path. And that was also another interesting synchronicity, because when I pulled that card, I started being more focused and more intentional about my spiritual path. So that's the Archangel Fire Oracle. And then I don't know if I've mentioned this one before, but a long time ago, before I had my son, I started working with the Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle cards, and I saw them somewhere. Somebody mentioned that they were an oracle deck associated or to work with the goddess Nyx. And I had seen the deck on Amazon. At the time I bought it, it was like $10. Now I think it's more expensive. But after I saw somebody talk about it here on YouTube, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like something that I would enjoy. So I went and I purchased it while it was still at a very affordable price. And it's a really nice deck. So the Wisdom of the House of Night is actually a book series that I have not read. So there are some characters here that are mentioned from that book series. So you need the guidebook to help with that if you are not familiar with the characters like myself. These cards are so pointy. They kind of hurt if you like accidentally stab your finger on them. But they are very nice. Even with this huge border, I still find that I like the artwork. And then, like I said, it's to connect with the goddess Nyx. So that's an added benefit if you are interested in that deity. I know I've gotten this card before. So she says Deceit, and then Neferdet, who I'm assuming is the character. Loyalty, Stevie Ray. She's probably one of the characters. Yeah, so this is another deck that I have been using specifically to connect with the goddess Nyx. And it's gilded, which is really nice because you don't see many gilded decks anymore. Next up is a deck I just purchased from a friend. It's the Pathfinder Oracle by Andrew Schwartz. This one didn't come with the guidebook, and my friend had not opened it yet. When she sold it to me, she got it from the Kickstarter, I believe. I really like it. I am hoping to find a way to get the guidebook, because apparently each corner of the card has like a positive, negative, active, and passive meaning, and I would like to get the guidebook so that I can read it that way. So even though it's like a square, it's actually like a diamond shaped, because the cards are supposed to be viewed this way. So I think that's really cool. Also, just like a different way to lay out the cards. It makes them look more interesting than the usual way. So I haven't played with this one, but just looking at how you can lay out like a little tapestry here, it seems like there's a lot to think about, even just with like the connections and the lines that the different cards make. So I'm looking forward to connecting with this one more. If you have the Pathfinder Oracle, I would love to hear about how you have worked with the different corners and the directionality, if you have any interesting ways of working with them, or if you just use them like a regular Oracle card. This is another deck that I have been using recently, and it had been on my list forever. It's not a new deck, obviously. It's new to me, and I did buy it used from somebody on Facebook. But I had wanted it for a long time, since I started reading cards. And this is the new edition, so it's borderless. And the person I bought it from had etched it in red, which I don't mind. So as I was saying, oh, I pulled that card for somebody. I really love the artwork in this deck. There is I found the artist on Instagram a while ago, and she has a deck of cards that she sells. They're more like inspiration art cards. So I haven't bought those cards, but I'm just really in love with this artwork. And then I was reading the guidebook, and I didn't realize that this deck was very specific to or very good, I guess, for creative people. So that was a nice surprise. When I was reading the guidebook, it was really focused on creativity in the introduction. So yeah, I'm really happy to have this deck with me. And I just noticed I was pulling some cards for some friends over on my Facebook page the other day, and it was very easy to connect with the images, and the information in the guidebook was also really helpful. So that's the Sacred Rebels Oracle, also by Elena Fairchild. I'm not sure if they have a guide pocket edition of this one, but I'm glad that I have the full size. Okay, and then in October, during my birthday month, I splurged on the Black Madonna, Mysteries of the Black Madonna deck by Hettienne Grabler. And she was selling a few decks that had like minor defects, or at least I thought they were minor. So they have this like line from where the cards were cut from each other, but also, and this I did not realize, apparently they have like a different coating on them, which makes it kind of hard to see. They're not as bright as the other decks. So these ones, because they had a few defects, they were cheaper than the regular price one. So that's why I was able to get it, because it was slightly less expensive. And I thought, oh, just the line, I don't mind. And so far, looking at the cards, it has not been difficult to make out what is in the cards. There are just a few cards that I think are very dim. At least they were looking, now they look kind of good, but there's a couple of cards that I was like struggling to see what they all the details in the shrines, which is important for this deck. But she mentioned that the printing shop, I guess, had put like an extra thick matte layer over the cards, which made it kind of fussy. But this is another deck that I'm working with very slowly. So I pull a card for myself for the week, and then I set it up in my sacred space and just connect with that story of that Black Madonna. And I've had some interesting synchronicities with this deck. So for example, see, this one is one of those cards that is kind of hard to see. But the other ones look just fine. When I got it, so Hettienne includes a holy card with all her decks. So my holy card was Santissima. Hold on, let me get it. Oh. Maria Santissima di Montevergine. So this was the holy card that she included for me. And then when I shuffled and was getting familiar with the deck, this was the first card that I drew, and it was the same Madonna. So I thought that was really interesting and a good omen, I guess. for how I was going to work with the deck. And so I have the Mysteries of Mary tarot, and now I have the Mysteries of the Black Madonna tarot, and Hetien is working on the Mysteries of the Red Madonna, which probably will be out soon, and it will probably take me a few years to get, because I'm gonna be working with this one. And this one has its own special journal, and this one I got from the Dollar Tree, but I write my reflections in here. And that wraps up my decks that I have been working with. I didn't bring it with me, but I was also working with the Lantern deck for quite some time, and I really enjoyed it. So I worked with it for more than a month, and the guidebook was saying that you should work with the deck for at least 40 days because it's a shadow work deck, but it's a very like gentle shadow work deck, and I do highly recommend it. I will have to share another brief video about my experience working with that one. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed hearing about my journals and the decks I have been working with, and I will link some of the things I mentioned in the description box. So thank you so much.